the Pixel 10 could be the Apple killer that we've finally been waiting for from our folks over at Google. So it's very clear to me when I take a look at the Pixel 10 and what they've been doing that they're very clearly aligning themselves as an alternative or a competitor to the iPhone. It doesn't seem so much like they're going after Samsung as it does seem like they're going after Apple, and maybe they think that Apple is just low-hanging fruit, pun intended. If you take a look at the iPhone, especially the iPhone 16, I know the 17 is coming out in a couple of weeks. We'll do this comparison with that phone as well because I think it'll be interesting because the iPhone 16 is about a year old, but it's the best normal iPhone that you can get right now, not the non-Pro. Well, the 17 will be here. We'll see what changes they make. Word on the street is maybe they might finally bump it up to a 90 hertz or 120 hertz. Who knows? But the iPhone 16 really is kind of lackluster, and it has a 6.1-inch screen. It is an OLED, but it's only 60 hertz, and it still only has like 25-watt charging max. With MagSafe, you get 15 or 20-watt charging. Otherwise, you get two cameras. There's no telephoto, and yeah, it's just really not all that inspiring. It has, of course, Apple's MagSafe, but whenever you take a look at the Pixel 10, other than the fact that it does have much better looking colors, I think the Apple colors are just so bland, and I feel like they don't even try very much anymore. Their colors are just like, ugh. But this new indigo color on the Pixel 10 is absolute fire. But Google, I feel like they've been trying to be more competitive with the iPhone because, well, it makes sense. You get Apple makes, of course, Apple phones. Google, they make Android. They make their own devices. The design, you could even say, is very similar. And if you take a look at it from the side, and you take a look at it from the front, I mean, yeah, it does look very similar to an iPhone. But of course, it has this legendary, iconic camera bar across the back now, which now you can see there's 3 lenses inside of there. So instead of having 2 cameras with the iPhone, you can get 3. With the Pixel 10, you get the new 48 megapixel camera, you've got the ultra wide, and then you've got a telephoto, which is nice because one of the things that I hate the most about the regular iPhone or even the Plus model that we've had before is that there's only 2 cameras. And I actually kind of like the plus size phone, like the Apple 15 Plus. I tried that one out. The battery life was good, but the screen is just not inspiring. The 60 hertz is terrible. The charging speeds are slow. You have a little bit faster charging speed over here. You can get up to 30 watts. So it's not really a whole lot to brag about. You get about an extra 5 to 10 watts faster charging than the iPhone. And it's funny because so many people are like, oh, it has such slow charging. Well, it's faster than the iPhone. Or when people complain about like the S25 Ultra has 45 watt charging. Oh, it's 45 watt charging. Well, the iPhone's only got like 20, 25. So it's just crazy what people complain about. There's this standard where it's like, okay, if Apple does it, it's okay, but you could have something twice as good in Android and it's just not as good, which is just dumb to me. But anyway, so the Pixel 10, we got 3 cameras, and then we've got this beautiful 6.3-inch screen on the front, 6.3-inch, much brighter. It goes up to, I believe it's 3,000 nits brightness, whereas the iPhone 16, let me look here, it is 2,000. So 2,000 is the highest that the iPhone will go, and then the Pixel 10, it will go up to 3,000. They're both 2,000 HBM, but the max peak brightness is 3,000 on the Pixel. I think the Pixel has a tremendously better looking, much better looking screen. The screen looks gorgeous, and it's got the actual display. It's very nice, and it goes almost edge to edge. I mean, the bezels are a little bit there, but the bezels, they're okay on the iPhone 16. But you have slightly faster charging, you have a much better screen, the screen is brighter, and it has the high refresh rate, 120 hertz instead of 60 hertz, and then you have a tremendously bigger battery. And this is something that I will actually use as a talking point because the iPhone 16, it has like a 3600, 3,561, and then the Pixel 10 has just under a 5,000. So you have basically flagship level size battery, and the Pixel 10 is 4,970 milliamps. That's a ton of battery. But see, here's the thing. We have an interesting fact when it comes to the Tensor chip, because so many people talk about the Tensor chip, and they'll go, oh, well, it's not enough. The benchmarks, it's not enough. But then when you look at other specs, and you look at other features, it's plenty enough if it's lesser because Apple doesn't need as much, right? Well, one of the whole points in going from Google working and making their own chip, working with Samsung previously, now working with TSMC for the Tensor, is to get some of those same benefits. It's to get that hardware and software relationship on par to where it may not need as much, or it can take advantage of some of the software exploits, or it can take advantage of the proprietary Google algorithms. It can take advantage of the custom Google signal image processor. There's like all these things that it can do better with its own stuff than Samsung could do, or than OnePlus can do, or something like that. So it's funny, I'll say, oh, this phone has a 4900, almost a 5000 milliamp battery, and then I'll say the iPhone 16 has a 3600, be like, oh, well, it doesn't need that much. Okay, so it doesn't need that much, but if you're talking about the chip, then it does need that much. But if it's like, oh, well, the iPhone 16 has 8 gigabytes of RAM, this one has 12 gigabytes of RAM, oh, the iPhone, it doesn't need that much RAM. See, it's this whole contradictory argument where it just doesn't make that much sense. In the past, yeah, Apple didn't need as much resources, but one of the reasons why they've had to bump up to 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is a joke anyway, 8 gigabytes of RAM in a modern phone, so they can use AI. Okay, well, Google is basically like the inventor of AI in the smartphone world. Gemini, that's all over the place. Even the article I've seen yesterday or day before yesterday says that Apple is in talks with Google to integrate Gemini into their stuff to make Siri better. At least that's what I was reading. I can't say whether that's true or not, but that's what I was reading. So it's just funny, right? But yes, AI out the wazoo. Google and the Pixel phones, the Pixel 10, it has so much AI. It is like 3 years ahead of the AI that's laughable in the iPhone 16, and that gap is just getting even wider. Now, we'll see what we get with the iPhone 17 when iOS 26 launches, and we'll see if they actually make any changes, but that was the whole deal for the iPhone 16 was, oh, built from the ground up for Apple Intelligence, and then there's no Apple Intelligence. And they've even admitted months ago they had to punt many of the features we were expecting, especially like the contextually aware Siri 2.0, that was going to have to come out with the iPhone 17. So we got ripped off. Like if you bought an iPhone 16, you got sold a lie. And now they'll want you to buy an iPhone 17 so you can get the same stuff you were supposed to get with the iPhone 16. But the AI, way, way, way more advanced in the Pixel phone. The smartphone camera photography, the computational photography, all that stuff, Google invented that stuff. And the Pixel 9 series phone's better camera than the iPhone. So now we have 3 different cameras on here instead of 2. So you get a bigger battery, you get a nicer screen, you get faster charging, you get better AI, you get more RAM, these 3 cameras across the back, and now we have MagSafe as well. Like, so we've got the Pixel Snap-on accessories that you can get whenever those are available, but you can use existing Qi 2.0 charging stuff on here. I did a short day before yesterday showing that you can use an existing Qi adapter, and one of the reasons people are like, oh, well, I love my Qi stuff. I love my MagSafe. You got it now on the Pixel 10. So there's so many things that the Pixel 10 has that the iPhone 16 has or doesn't have, and has that the iPhone 17 likely will not have, and it's the same price. And I think it makes it really competitive. So a lot of people look at the Pixel 10 Pro at $999, or they look at the Pixel 10 Pro XL at 11 or $1099, like, or $1199, yeah, because they have the 256 model. Like, oh well, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. This could just be the best Pixel phone to buy for most people. And when you talk about flagship level stuff, this has most of the things now, and one of the things that we had that was missing before was that third camera. So yes, they dumbed down the primary and the ultra wide, or at least primary, and then they gave us a telephoto, but it's still, with Google's computational photography, like it's still going to take really good photos, and I think it's still going to take better photos than the iPhone. The iPhone's had the same camera for years as well. Their camera is not inspiring. They haven't made any serious updates, and I take pictures with the Google phones or even other phones, and I'm like, this looks so much better than my iPhone. I did a comparison a few days ago with my wife, and I took a picture with 3 different phones, one being the iPhone, one being the Pixel, and one being like a Samsung phone. And my wife's like, yeah, the iPhone looks the worst. I don't like the iPhone. So the Pixel 10, yeah, it could finally be the Apple killer. Maybe it's the one that finally convinces people to move over and try out Google. And I get a lot of comments from people, and I've said this in the past, that most folks will consider a Google phone before they consider a Samsung phone. I don't know what it is. It's like I feel like it's the NFC East whenever it comes to competition with phones. Like, okay, you have the Dallas Cowboys and the Redskins, or the Commanders now, sorry, or the Eagles or the Giants, and there's like such fierce rivalry in that division, and no one would really is like, oh, I'll never root for the other guys, but I'll root for somebody over in the AFC, right? So I think what it is Samsung and Apple have just been at it for so long that Apple customers don't want a Samsung, and Samsung customers don't want an Apple. So Google just shows up. It's like, hey guys, I got the Pixel. It's a great phone. You should try it out. And they're like, you know what? I might try that. Plus, a lot of people don't like One UI. There's the whole bloatware thing that people whine about all the time. And then we've got now the Material 3 Expressive, which is super nice on here. And I can't wait to share more about that in my full review. But there's just so many advancements. You got 7 years of support here now, which, I mean, basically everything is on par with the iPhone and better in many ways. And then we've got, of course, RCS support as well. We got the satellite stuff for the emergency call and SOS. So, yeah, why not, huh? Why not give it a whirl? And this is not like an argument saying, like, go out and buy one. I don't try to steer people any which way. But I think this is the most compelling argument we've seen in a long time from Google versus just the regular iPhone. Now, this is not a referendum on the Pro. I'll compare the Pro series later, and I'm going to get the iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max whenever it comes out, and I'll do some videos talking about those. But I think that Google has done the best job to date with the regular Pixel 10 phone, and this guy right here, I think, makes a compelling argument if you're looking to leave Apple or if you're looking for an alternative or you're looking at a new phone. You're like, hey, I like this. There's some good stuff here. So that's all I've got. Let me know what your thoughts are. Go to the comment section. I'd love to hear your points and pros and cons and all the things that you think about it. But let's discuss it. And if you have any questions or comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, all that stuff, please, of course, go to the comment section as well. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.